Welcome back, trybean 10 spot. It must be Tuesday. That's how I know what day it is, man. I have two markers for the week. I know what day I take out the garbage. That's every Sunday night. And I'm always marveling at, man, didn't I just do this a minute ago? Whoosh, weeks go by. And I know when it's Tuesday, specifically at 10 a.m., because I hop on this Restream tool and I shoot this little video out to my YouTube channel. Did you know I have a YouTube channel? Yeah, I've had it forever. I don't promote it very well or like ever, but it's there at youtube.com/trybean. And then I bring it over to my LinkedIn so we can go LinkedIn live. And yeah, LinkedIn Live gets a little more play than YouTube. Why? Because there's a bunch of people on LinkedIn. There's hardly anybody. I think I have like 120 subscribers on YouTube. That's kind of sad now that I think about it. Hmm. Should I put together a YouTube strategy? Because, boy, wouldn't it be great to have another strategy for another tool? You got your Instagram strategy, your Facebook strategy, your LinkedIn strategy. Maybe you have a Twitter strategy. You now have to have a thread strategy. You should probably have a YouTube strategy. Why wouldn't you have a YouTube strategy? Actually, out of all of those, YouTube may make the most sense. LinkedIn, of course. LinkedIn makes sense because I like LinkedIn. Had it for a long time. 2004, people. Yeah. November 24th, 2004. Isn't that cute that I know that? Yeah, it's a long time, man. It's my LinkedIn profile is old enough to serve in the United States military. That's cool. Couple of years, it'll be old enough to drink. That's exciting. I have to buy it a drink. That'll be cool. All right. So the last week we veered from our previous topic because I wanted to talk a little bit about productivity and I shared 7 steps on how to be more productive. But the 2 weeks prior to that, I was sharing some tips and some tools and some tricks on how to network more effectively. Importantly, how to get more results from your networking effort. And so we're going to jump back into that because well, it's good. It's important. And if we're talking about LinkedIn, I mean, to me, LinkedIn is a relationship building platform, and I see people use it in a bunch of different ways. And I know a lot of people still in 2023 still think it's a job search platform, and it certainly can be. But if you're using LinkedIn properly to find a job, it's going to matter what kind of relationships you have with the people you might want to work with. Here's a pro tip for all you job seekers: find the job, figure out who you know in the company or who you know that knows someone at the company. Get your resume to that person or those people, and then ask them to deliver it to the hiring manager. Do not use the ATS, the applicant tracking system. Why? Because for the most part, that's a big black hole. And if you don't have the right amount of keywords, your resume will never, ever get seen by human eyes. And you kind of need that human touch to be able to get the position that you're looking for. So there's your bonus tip for today. So, and it fits, right? Networking to get a job, right? They say that most positions aren't filled by first degree connections, right? The people that know people, but by second degree connections. And the statistic was high. It's like 65 to 70% of positions are filled by someone that knows a person that knows the company, right? So it's kind of cool, man. So you definitely want to take advantage of that particular tip if you're in the job seeking world. Now, while we're talking tips, you're going to want to go follow my friend Brenda Miller, who hosts kind of on office hours every Friday. And she does a lot with helping job seekers find work using LinkedIn. And she does that at least every single month, if not more frequently than that. She does kind of like a live master class, and she's super cool, super knowledgeable, and knows all things LinkedIn. So follow Brenda Miller. All right. back to what we're talking about. I'm going to fire up this little presentation because I think it's cool and I think it'll help. And I like visual aids. And so those things are all good. And we're going to jump into a really, really interesting topic right now. And that topic is how to remember names. Raise your hand if you have a hard time remembering names. Now, tell me, did you raise your hand? Click like if you did. Because otherwise, how will I know? You're just sitting there with your hand up. You can put it down, by the way. Um, I won't know if you raised your hand. I can't see you. So you got to click that like button. Mash that thing. Back, back, back. All right. So here's what I will tell you. You don't have a memory issue. It's not about did I remember the name? It's really more about did I pay attention to the name when it was told to me? And the answer for most people is no. Why? Because we've been taught from such an early age that you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. Here's the challenge: we misunderstand what that means. We think that making a good first impression is by saying something clever or witty or, being funny or being memorable or going on some random monologue. But what if, just what if, think about this for a second, instead of worrying about and thinking about what you're going to say, because that's what you're doing. You get introduced to somebody, you're in your head like, what am I going to say? How am I going to be relatable? How am I going to be cool? How am I going to be somebody this person wants to talk to? But instead of going through all of that, what if you shifted your focus to just paying attention to them? Right? You want to be a great conversationalist, and I may have talked about this already, or I'll certainly talk about it in the future in this series. You want to be a real good conversationalist, let them talk and actually honor them by listening. Here's the thing: I told you the name thing isn't a memory issue. You can't remember something you didn't really know. So when you're focused on them, what they're saying, what they're about, when you hear their name, it'll actually like resonate. You'll hear it, you'll pay attention to it, you'll store it instantly. And you can trust that when it is your turn to speak, the right words are going to fall out of your face. I promise. Happens all the time. You'll also be a lot more relatable. You'll be more liked. You'll be someone that they're like, "Oh, I really like talking to that person," because you're going to let them talk about their favorite topic. What's everybody's favorite topic? Me. Yes, my Terry Bean is everybody's favorite topic. No, silly, themselves, right? Themselves. They are their favorite topic. So ask them questions about who they are and what they're about and what they like and what they care about. And then you can actually make uh, you can anchor who they are with some of the things that they do. A lot of times people say, well, you need to have like a mnemonic device. If their name is Frank, you can call them Funky Frank, right? Maybe they got some funky clothes on, or they got a funky attitude, or maybe they talk about their favorite food and it's Frankfurters. They'd probably call it hot dogs, but just for the sake of this video. So you can do mnemonic devices. Don't ever tie those to clothes because it's unlikely you're going to see somebody in the same outfit 2 or 3 times in a row. But, maybe it's bald bean. You could certainly remember that because I'm not likely to have hair next time you see me unless we hit another pandemic and maybe I'll go for another growth. All right, that's enough about the secret to remembering names. Did you learn something? I think you might have. I think you might have. So, tell me you liked it or don't, whatever. I like it enough for both of us. So, this ties into the next section, which I call after you networking. Now, there's a couple of reasons that you want to let the other person go first. One, because it shows that you care and it shows that you got a level of confidence and it shows that you're not all about you, you're about them. And that's a real important aspect of networking. If you've been paying attention to this series, being about others is where it's at, right? What can I give? Not as much what can I get. If you give, you will get. So after you networking, let them go first. It helps you remember their name too. Not because they're going to say it a bunch of times, but because you're going to be wholly focused on what they're talking about. So as you're going through after you networking, the couple of values that come up is one, you get to hear all about them. So when it's your turn to speak, you know how to relate your stories and your information to them. When we go first, we just kind of throwing knives at a barrel. That doesn't make any sense. We're throwing knives at a blank wall, no target. When we learn about them, we can relate our stories and the information that we have to them specifically. And that's gold, right? So there's one. Two, and I think the bigger one is when you let people go first, you suddenly have an idea of who they are because eventually it becomes your turn to speak. And if they offer you the same respect and the same attention that you gave them, this is someone you're going to want to network with and spend time with. If they're all this and floating around and looking around the room trying to figure out how to get out, or if they're interrupting or not paying attention to you, this may not be someone you want to network with. And boy, oh boy, wouldn't you love to find that out in minute one? The answer is yes. So nod your head. Yes, absolutely. You want to find that out right stinking now. So, important lessons right there. All right, let's see what's next. Oh, ho, 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 ho. These are some tips on how to be more effective while you're in the room. So, you want to make sure that you're providing people eye contact because eye contact is really important. It's trusting, it's respectful, it's kind, it's usually genuine and generous. And you don't seem like some kind of shifty person when you're like darting all over the place. Now, for me, I have a bit of a wandering eye, so it's a little bit tricky, but it's okay. People know, and I don't mind. I don't mind. People are like, I don't know which eye to look at. Look at my nose, man, right here in the middle. I'll never know because they're so close. Two, the handshake. This is an important thing. You know, in 2020, we moved to the fist bump. So you can still pull the fist bump off and rock that. I always wanted to just do like a foot kick, or I like bowing, and bowing is super cool because, you know, no germs exchanged. I'm not a germaphobe, but I definitely don't like, you know, the season of December through March or April when half the people you talk to are sick and they're touching your hand and you're touching other people's hands. Not a fan of that, but it is what it is. Handshake's important, man. And it's important because it shows who you are and how you handle things. And so I tell people all the time, you want to get a good, strong, like connection right here, cup to cup. And you don't want to be just grabbing somebody's little fingers, right? You don't want to be squeezing that. You don't want to be all limp. You don't want to do this or that. And this is applies for men and women, right? Because there's a lot of women now. So this thing, you know, no one's kissing the hand. That's not a thing here in the United States. We don't do that. So you got to get that good grip. And then don't squeeze too hard, right? Nobody likes the bone crusher. We want to make sure that you hold the hand firmly and then three pumps, not 27, not anything else, not just one and done, right? Three, boom, boom, right? Nice little tempo, and that works really, really well. So do that, practice that. It's a lot better than that dead fish, limp, cold handshake. And if you're a sweaty handed person, that's okay, right? I'm not judging you, but try and dry your hands on your slacks because that's a different sensation than most people are used to. This next thing is name tags. Fun fact: most people wear their name tag over here on the left, but you should wear it over here on the right. And you wear it on the right because when you go to shake your hand, the right chest comes forward. So it makes it easier to see and to read. So if you're wearing a name tag, put it on the right side. You can put it in the middle, but right is better than left. Look at that. You're learning things. And this last one right here is like the number one accessory you must have at every single event because it's warm, it's caring, it's compassionate, it's inviting, and people like to smile and they like to see you smile because it indicates people are having a good time. And that's what we should be concerned with is how do we have a good time? So smile, people. Ooh, I have a whole series of videos on the ask. So I'm not going to dive into it too much, but I am going to encourage you to go to that trybean YouTube channel and look at these videos because it's pretty cool. You know, in the old days, we used to talk about a 60-second commercial or an elevator pitch. I don't love either one of those because A, 60 seconds is a really long time, and B, I don't know how many people are doing anything in elevators ever. And especially not a 60-second elevator ride. We in a skyscraper. So your ask is real simple, right? And it's straightforward and it's a great way to introduce yourself. It's your business category, and then very specifically, who's the one person or the one company or the one big idea that if someone could introduce you to would make your month absolutely rock. So we want to kind of jump into that. So for me, I'll give you an example. My name's Terry Bean. I'm with trybean. I'm in the training and coaching world. I specialize in personal and business development. I am looking to meet the vice president of sales at Meadowbrook Insurance in Southfield, Michigan. Now, all of those things, right? My name, my business category, that was about 8 seconds. Who the person I'm looking to meet was about 3 seconds, right? So that's an 11-second conversation. And what I really like about being specific with who you're looking to meet, you may not know the vice president of sales at Meadowbrook Insurance, but you might know the vice president of sales at Farmers Insurance or Allstate Insurance or State Farm Insurance. And guess what? All of those are good opportunities for me too, right? So you share something, title, position, location that someone might be able to relate to. And the more information you give them along those lines, the better. You start talking about, I'm looking to meet anybody or anyone who does X, Y, or Z. Shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. Why? Because people, when we hear anybody or everybody, right? Anybody or anyone, we hear everybody and everyone. Those aren't things, our minds don't process it. And even if I love you till the end of time, I'm not introducing you to everybody I know. And I'm a nice guy. Most people are less nice. They're not introducing you to anybody. But if you say vice president of sales at Meadowbrook Insurance and somebody knows that person, their tail starts wagging. They get excited because they can help. Even if they don't offer to help, you can tell they know the answer. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This went really, really fast, and I guess that's good. Oh, maybe it didn't go so fast. Oh no, it did. That's a 9. I can't read, man. I was like, dude, I'm only at 10 minutes. No, I'm at 19 minutes, which is 4 minutes longer than I intended to be. But that's why we have flexibility, folks. So I'm going to let you get back to your regularly scheduled program. I'm going to get back to mine. And I'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 10 a.m. And we'll continue this conversation about getting better results from networking. Have a great rest of the week. My name is Terry Bean. You can learn more about me at trybean.com. If there's ever anything I can do for you, I'd be happy to. See ya.